everyone, welcome. So my name is Michelle Javanus, and I'm going to give you just an overview of our admin panel. So our admin panel is really sort of designed to control how your organization behaves. To kind of explain it just a little bit more, things like your player management. So when you need to order more players, you need to move players, licensing is kind of same thing there. All of that management is going to be done on the admin panel. Anyone who has SSO in their organization, again, you're going to set up your SSO on the admin panel. And then, of course, every single user that you add, every location that you add is going to inherit that SSO policy. Some other things that we will eventually build as well would be global sharing. So again, maybe you have some marketing like branding templates that you want to make sure that everyone in your organization has access to. Again, you would upload it into your admin panel. Emergency alerts, same thing. Again, if you set up your emergency alerts, we want to make sure that every single player under that organization is inheriting that emergency alert. So those are just some of the capabilities that we'll continue to add on. So what we have today, though, as you're seeing actually right now, is the first thing is the organization dashboard. Now, the things that you can do here is, first off, you can actually add facilities. Now, we call them facilities. That's the terminology we use. Some people call them locations, and every organization is just designed differently. Some people have organizations as far as like screens, meaning like screens in different states. They might have screens in different counties or even different cities. But sometimes when you have like those different locations, you then have those local users that are sort of managing that day-to-day work. What's great about this is actually you can create the location or the facility yourself, and then you can start adding users and getting them going as maybe the hardware is essentially coming. Now, again, don't freak out too much. If you don't have time to do this, no worries at all. Just send us a quick email and we're happy to do all this for you. So what you're seeing here in my demo account is I have two facilities under my demo account. I have 01 tests, and then I have this rich digital signage. What it's telling me is that really the important thing is how many players are offline and then how many users have access to that facility. If I click on, say, reach digital signage, you can see that the accordion drops and it quickly just shows me like, hey, these are the players, 13, that we should really address and get them back online. If I want to click on one of these players, by the way, it actually brings me into that player's property page. And what that means is that there might be some advanced settings, there might be some configurations that you want to look at to, again, essentially try to troubleshoot. The players management, so this is the one I was telling you about where you're going to be able to manage your players. We are actually still working on this. So if you're watching this tutorial, you probably don't see it, but I kind of did the tutorial a little bit earlier. Same with securities and privacy. That's where you're going to do your SSO policy. That's where you're going to set it up. Again, still working on it, our development team. I'm sure when you're watching this and you're looking at your screen and you're not seeing it, yeah, we are hiding it. But again, I'm just kind of doing the tutorial earlier. So users and roles and permissions. So I actually have two different tutorials on this, by the way, but I'll just kind of give you just a high, overview of how it sort of works. But if you have access to what we're describing today, right, it means that you're the owner. You're the owner of this organization, or maybe you've invited other team members to have access to this. And so the way that users works is that if somebody ever needs, you to create an account, create a user account, I apologize. What happens sometimes today is people will call Reach, our support, and say, hey, John Smith, he needs to get access to this facility. The problem is that we want to protect you guys. We want to make sure that we're protecting your sort of security and policy. So now it's, no, you need to go talk to the owner, which means that you and your team, again, whoever you give access to have this sort of rights and permissions, needs to create all the users. We don't create them for you anymore. You do it. Again, just another little overview of it is that every single user that you add to your organization, they actually get an onboarding email. They'll say, hey, Michelle, John Smith has invited you to his organization. Click on this button to activate your account. When I click on that activate button, the first thing I do is set up my password. Once I set up my password, then I opt in and have access to the CMS. As far as roles and permissions, you guys have complete control of how many roles you want to create, how many users you want to add, of course, and then you just push that role to a particular facility or multiple facilities. So again, that was just like a quick sort of overview because, again, I have separate tutorials for that. Down here in the organization settings, the last little thing I just want to describe to you guys is there's really two accordions here. The first one here says organization ownership. it's really just to let you know, like, who has the same access to you, right? Like who is the owner? Again, you at least need to have one, but you can have other members inherit or sort of have the same sort of permissions as you. And so this is really just that quick overview saying like, hey, we have Bonnie and we have John and we have Michelle who are sort of having this ownership rights. The second one here is the logo. So what this does, by the way, when you hit upload logo, just kind of take note too, by the way, of the requirements for this logo. But if you were to upload your company logo, what happens is this Reach logo actually disappears and your company logo replaces it. Now, this is just sort of that first phase. And to be clear too on this, when you upload your company logo, it only shows on the admin panel. So all of your locations or your facilities, they're still going to see the Reach one. It's only you and your team, when you come into the admin panel, will you see the company logo. So that's kind of really our phase one. Our second and third phase, of course, is we want to take it where when you and your entire organization basically logs into the Reach system, on our login page, we actually have our Reach logo. We actually want to replace that with your company logo. And then the third thing, which I described on the users, is that onboarding email. So again, every user that you add to your organization, they get that onboarding email. Well, of course, that onboarding email is branded, obviously, to Reach's branding. But what we want to do is remove that Reach logo and then put your company logo. So again, this mechanism is just going to grow, but for right now, it's just replacing it on the admin side. And then really that last thing down here is the support page. Again, if you need to watch more tutorials, you can put a support ticket in. If you just need to leverage any information to make sure that you feel comfortable using our system, that's where you're going to access that information. So that's our admin panel, by the way. Any questions, of course, please let us know. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.